Does world building for your novel or whatever creative thing you're making have you feel really, really, really confused? Kind of like the swirly eyes glasses character, we call him Melvin here in the States from Sailor Moon. Yeah, his glasses. Well, then you should probably go along with me to see what the 5 things anime can teach you, and well, because they taught me about world building. Let's check it out. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to Sitting Down with Soul Writer. I'm actually sitting down today. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi, fantasy, of dashes of romance, and nerdy references. Alongside the raw stories my characters weave throughout time and space, I help other soul bards such as yourselves get back to doing what you love most in your creative processes in one way or another. And one of the ways I'm doing that today is, well, reflecting on how something I nerded out about really hard as a kid is teaching me more and more about writing stuff than I ever could have thought or realized. We are now working our way toward video number 20 on this collaborative playlist. If you want to go ahead and check out all the other wonderful perspectives contributed to various author tubers on this platform to that playlist, please go ahead and see the link in the description box below. And we do have a little bit of time until we run out here by the end of February to go ahead and contribute to if you want us to get over that video hump and join in. It's never too late until that February 29th clock runs out. On the other hand, we're probably doing this again next year. It was a lot of fun. So today I did promise you about the 5 things that anime taught me about world building. Anime taught me a lot about world building, and putting it down to 5 sticky notes was hard. Yes, I made sticky notes. So pardon me while I consult my outline on occasion. So for number 1, getting meta means you need to have multiple points of entry into the series at all times. For myself, this is something I'm struggling with currently while writing the Myrna Annals, because the first 5 books, they go together. And if you don't want to read those first 5 books, you got to wait for me to finish writing the other entries into the series that people could take. Now, somebody like the creator of Inuyasha or the creator of Sailor Moon, every new season is potentially a new entry point into that anime. I think this is why Ash Ketchum never ever grows up in Pokemon. And there are actually videos trying to calculate Ash's true age now for a reason. I was in 6th grade when Pokemon first hit the States and became super duper popular, okay? I'm in my 30s now. It's around forever for a reason. It has all these multiple, really respectable, multiple entries into the series. Another way to go about achieving that multiple entry point into the series, even if you yourself do not feel like you have one, is to rely on another method that anime and sometimes manga even offers. That goes into number 2, looking at your novellas, your short stories, your flash fiction, your social media presence in some way, depending on if you have a Ream Stories, a Kickstarter, a Patreon, whichever. How can you gear that towards being another entry into this world? For me, I have really paced that out with the Myrna Annals. That's been one of my goals this past year. You have the Arguing with Myrna shorts now. It's kind of a weird little kooky entry into the world, right? So even for anime, by example, they have manga. That's the literature based way to entry point into this world. Video games can be, so other merch, but also within the anime themselves, they sometimes have these novellas of all their own. They have movies. They have something called OVAs, which is like little mini 3 to 6 episode spin offs that might equal the length of a movie or two if they were put in movie format. I'm looking at you, Gundam Wing with Endless Waltz, specifically because It has both a movie runtime format and a multi-episode OVA runtime format. The story in those two versions is slightly different, and you get a slightly different depiction of certain characters throughout, depending on what order the events come in and what is said by who and when because of that. So keep that in mind. Your novellas can be the same. You still get things like indirect characterization, direct characterization. You get more indication of whether or not a character is flat versus round versus dynamic in those little snippets. And they often become freebies that you can use for social media building, for giveaways, whatever have you. Because I'm sure that a lot of anime, Pokemon, thrive on that themselves, okay? I mean, some of my most memorable moments from watching Pokemon growing up were from the movies. I'm a Mew fan, can't you tell? Number 3, challenge your worldviews, but don't throw all of your sandboxes into the sandbox, okay? I will admit that you need to pare down. That's one of the reasons why I rebranded, because I pared down. Some of us come into our first book, our first series, our first published creative endeavor being like, I feel like I have to do all the things and I have to do them right now. I'm sorry, sweetheart, you are human, and your vehicle of choice in this fleshy mode can only handle 3 to 7 projects at a time on any given day. Sorry. We created computers because we envy them to be able to do more for us. We cannot do more because they exist. Not all the time. We can optimize it, but there is a human limit. So with that being the case, challenge your worldviews. Pick your battles, okay? This is where that mindset of the season, of the novella, of the multiple entry points to the world can help you. Again, it also can go into building out more characters through their development, especially if you have favorite characters that people keep asking to see again and again and again and again, to the point where you even have to change the plot of their story and include them in future seasons. Y'all will understand which one I'm talking about. She knows who I'm talking about, and she's very thankful not to have book 5 go the way it's going to go. By comparison, in anime, Sailor Moon tackles some deep topics about what it means to be a teenager. Cardcaptor Sakura, a lot of the magical girl anime, they all tend to focus on typical teenage girl problems. It comes with the age group. In Junjo Romantica and Sekai Ichi Hatsukoi, some of the more boy love anime, typical what you would be worried about in a conservative society, comes up in workplace situations. Can't you tell I love the romantic stuff? Anyway, number 4. Remember what I said a couple episodes about when you think you have more cheese, add more? That does not mean add different types of cheese, okay? Because if you burn it, you need to know how to repair the burn. And sometimes that does not equal putting more cheese on top of it to cover it up. If you make a mistake, go back and fix it. If you make a continuity error, go back and try to make some sense of it, either through editing and release a second edition, or give yourself another entry point into the world. That maybe that's time for a novella, like, for real. This is a point in some anime where you have like, wow, I didn't know I had this magical ability pop up randomly. Or you might have like a cousin, or, this happens in sitcoms sometimes too, through the 90s, where a random new character will pop up. Yes, I'm looking at you, Urkel. We all know Stefan is great. Just saying. And then number 5, look for the plot twist and time them well. In Japanese storytelling structure, they have Kisho Tenketsu, which is literally a type of story telling manufacturation in your plot. We're used to thinking of Freytag's pyramid here in the US because that's what most of you are taught. You know, the triangle plot, and the triangle might lean one way or the other depending on how much rising or falling action you have. In Keisho Tenketsu, yes, I'm looking at the kanji to read it to make sure I pronounce it as closely correctly as I can because it's been forever. You just have continual rise plot, 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 until it spirals out of control. There isn't a nice, neat wrap end to the story. It just gets messier. I'm looking at you, Death Note. I'm still mad with what you did to my favorite character. I love L. Bring him back. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Keisho Tenketsu, I have taught a class on it a couple of times over the history of being a teacher. As far as creative writing teaching goes, I would love to do a workshop on it. I will try to do it as good of justice for you as I possibly can. And judging by all the dings and the dongings in my ear, it is about time for me to go ahead and step out. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting everything I do. And you know what I'm going to say above all. Take care of yourself. I know you're worth it. See you on another one, or see you in the Q&A we're all doing together in March. Bye.